Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great day. It is Sunday morning, the very first Sunday, Joe Boo. Yeah, Joe Boo's here with me too, without football, and to try and make it a little bit better, I got to hit the road. I'm going to be on the road for about the next 3 hours going to Pennsylvania to do some work. And of course, the Cowboys will be on our mind. We have kind of the calm before the storm this first Sunday without football. There will be a lot of activity and things that will be going on in the NFL. We're beginning to hear about some players that are being released or have been released and will be released. And there will be a lot of named players out there that, if the Cowboys are in fact going all in and looking for players that can help them get over the hump, that will be available. The 20th is the beginning of franchise tagging. I don't believe the Cowboys will be using any of the tags, the transitional tag or the franchise tag, on anybody. I don't see anybody who out there you see worthy of that. And then later this week, I believe on Thursday, the combine starts. So we'll be looking at the next generation of stars as we start figuring out who's who as far as who we want to draft. Legal tampering starts the 11th, and the league year starts on the 13th, where the Dallas Cowboys have to be under the salary cap, and they're currently sitting 19 million over the salary cap, in which case they have to get some things done. Now, we've heard that the Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb's contracts are being talked about, and the thing that people will look, and people who don't dig into the deep end of what goes on in football will think that you're paying Dak, so that means we're not going to be able to have money for others. No, actually, if they go ahead and get this contract done, they will give themselves some cap relief of that $59 million. It may be that his contract is $59 million a year, but the funny thing is his contract was $40 million a year, and the cap numbers were 17, 19, and 26. Yeah. Never got anywhere close to actually 40 because guaranteed money, signing bonuses, and things like that are done differently on the cap. So that's what you have there. As far as quarterbacks go, you're kind of seeing teams that at first were like, we're done with these guys, that seem to be thinking maybe we're not quite done. Denver is kind of saying, if we can get a restructured deal with Russell Wilson, maybe we'd like to keep him, because they realize that rumors are that San Francisco may trade Sam Darnold to Denver. I don't know that Sam Darnold's much different than them having Drew Lock. I'll be honest with you. I honestly don't. And you're hearing now that Minnesota is open to getting another deal done with Kirk Cousins, because there's very slim pickings out there. Jimmy G will be out there, of course, who's going to be on a 2-game PED suspension. And that's about it. That's really about it, other than some journeymen that are out there. So if you're looking for a quarterback, there's some great prospects, but you got to be able to probably be in the top 3 to get them. So teams are looking at it and saying, maybe we need to roll the dice because there's just not ones there. I know Cowboy fans are fed up with Dak Prescott and say that he can't win one. Well, there's a lot of quarterbacks out there that haven't won one, that people seem to think that they can win one, but they haven't yet. So this morning, keeping this a little bit shorter than usual, this is an interesting take from Get Up, the green list of quarterbacks, the top 5 that could win a Super Bowl next year. Now, I like what I'm hearing from people. You have to understand my mentality, okay? I have been bankrupt. I have had a flesh-eating bacteria that literally almost cost me my life, and I had to learn how to walk again. While I was doing that, I lost my job, ended up being divorced, and raising a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old daughter as a single parent. And if that wasn't enough, I then got burned in a fire, which burned off some of the scar from the flesh-eating bacteria. So I understand working hard. When I started YouTube people kind of laughed at me and they said, "You don't really know how to use a computer." My daughter literally had to upload the videos for me to YouTube. You're not computer literate. You stutter. You're not good in front of the camera. You're old and you're ugly. You know, you're not like a pretty something that can shake your ass or show some cleavage and get the clicks. It'll never work. And what I've learned in my life is nobody is going to give you anything other than crap. What I've learned is if you want something, if you truly want something, it's on you. It is on you to come up with a plan and bust your ass to have it happen. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Everybody wants things, but it's the people who bust their ass to get it. And in my life, that's the way it works. So I think a lot of times what's happened with the Cowboys players and things is they get so much hype. They get so much love. They're always talked about. They're told you're a Super Bowl contender. You're great. You know, you have one big win and you're, doing this or lion crawling and the crowds are roaring and cheering and telling you how great you are. But you hadn't really sacrificed to earn it. As Emmitt Smith said, you're living off the backs of what we did. And that's true. Now, some of it is we don't have the backs that we had back then. We didn't have the teams that just had sheer talent across the board. And that goes back to the ownership. But ownership got nothing to do with the performance that came out against Green Bay, where they literally were like a turtle hiding in their shell. So it seems preordained that the Cowboys can't win a Super Bowl. And what I hope is that they hear these things and that they, from within, dig deep and work and bust their ass. Let's listen to it.
At the bottom of the hour, and here comes today's green list, and this one I think is going to get a great deal of attention. It is not the top 5 greatest NFL dynasties. Today's green list are the top 5 quarterbacks that will win their first Super Bowl next. And at number 5, I'm putting Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is as talented as any quarterback in the National Football League, with the exception of no one. And he is now, for the first time, going to be matched by exceptional coaching. I think it'll take a year or two for them to clear up their salary cap situation. But Herbert and Harbaugh is a deadly combination. They will eventually go to a Super Bowl. At number 4, I have to put Lamar Jackson. Frankly, I'm not sure exactly when he's going to win it if it wasn't this year. Everything seemed to be set up perfectly, but that team is too talented, he's too good, and the coaching is too good to leave him off a list like this. Lamar Jackson was the MVP this year and deserved it. The Ravens will be back in business next year. You have to give him a chance. At number 3, I'm putting Joe Burrow, who I know everyone else is going to think is number 1. If this was just about him, I would probably agree. But in Cincinnati, they've lost their offensive coordinator. I believe they're about to lose one of their most important offensive weapons in T. Higgins. And I'm a little worried about the things I'm hearing about his thumb. I don't know that Joe Burrow's health is going to be just 100% fine by the time we get there. But most importantly, those 3 all play in the AFC, which is why my top 2 choices are the top 2 choices, because you have a much better chance of winning the NFC. And so at number 2, I'm putting Brock Purdy. The 49ers are actually the betting favorite on ESPN Bet to win the Super Bowl next year. And there's no reason to think they can't. Brock Purdy's contract will still be ridiculously team-friendly. They shouldn't have to lose all their good players that quickly. The 49ers should be back, and I'll put Purdy at 2. But at number 1, this might surprise you. I'm a believer in Jordan Love, my friends. Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers are on the come. Go back and look at the second season that Brett Favre was the primary starter in Green Bay. Go back and look at the second season that Aaron Rodgers was the primary starter in Green Bay. That's when they took off. Love is starting from a higher place. He sat, he watched, he learned. The second half of last season, he was as good as any quarterback in the sport. Frankly, they should have beaten San Francisco in the divisional round a few weeks ago. They dominated Dallas. They are the youngest good team in the NFL, so they are only going to get better and better, and they have him on a reasonable contract as well. So this is not to say Jordan Love is the next best quarterback in the NFL, but I think he's more than good enough, and I have a feeling about that team. The Green Bay Packers, I think, are a sneaky, excellent pick to be in the Super Bowl next year. I'm trying to read the faces. I'm looking over here. All right, who looks the angriest at me? Go ahead, Marcus. Have at me, because I know you're not going to agree.
I vehemently disagree. I get your thing about Joe Burrow, because Joe Burrow is in the AFC. But where the hell is Jared Goff when you start talking about the NFC, G? The Detroit Lions, they are going to get better than they were last year. Jared Goff obviously has to sign an extension. Super young, Jameson Williams got going. Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think they got the best right tackle in football in Penei Sewell. Jameer Gibbs, Montgomery coming back. And let's not talk about what Brad Holmes has done from a general manager standpoint. Everybody walked away from that game against the San Francisco 49ers saying Detroit handed it to them on a silver platter. They dominated that game in every single phase except coaching late in the game and losing their identity, only running the ball 7 times in the second half. I think the Detroit Lions will be the scariest team in the NFC next year, and I think it'll have a lot to do with how their season ended this year.
I'm with you, and I know Lewis loves them too. I will say, however, I was watching on Thanksgiving when Green Bay went in there and beat them up and down the field, and I think the Packers are every bit as much on an upward trajectory as the Lions are. I'm not knocking the Lions. I think they're excellent, but if you're asking me right this minute between Love and Goff, I take Love. Lewis, what do you think?
As far as the Packers are concerned, look, I get it, man. And, I think their young core that they have offensively is here to stay. It's here to stay. I thought it would kick in at the halfway point of the season, and it did. I didn't expect them to go ahead then and open up a can on Dallas the way they did. I didn't expect it to look like that. But more power to them, bro. More power to them. But look, I'm going to say it's Joe Burrow. And I'm going to say it's Joe Burrow, and it's the Cincinnati Bengals, and here's the reason why. Okay? The Chiefs told me a story about when they went to Baltimore this past year in the title game. And as soon as Patrick threw that touchdown pass to Travis, and Kyle Hamilton was right there, you could sense that for Baltimore, which they felt was the best team in the NFL, Kansas City felt that themselves. Baltimore was like, man, is he going to do it to us again? Like, it got in Baltimore's head, like, you just can't beat this guy. You can't beat this guy. Even if we have the better team, he's still going to find a way to torture us. Like, we're going to start doubting ourselves. The only team, the only quarterback that can do that to Kansas City, in my mind, is Joe. Mm-hmm. Joe can put that kind of doubt in their mind, that even if they have a superior team, this guy can do the same things that their guy can do. That's why I say it's Joe Burrow.
All right, so there you have it. The funny thing is, this is what always happens. What always happens is they go through any team that was good this year, they automatically will say they're going to be good the following year, not realizing or remembering that half of the teams that were playoff teams the year before aren't the next year. They just aren't. So to say that San Francisco is a shoo-in to go back to the Super Bowl, they said that about the Eagles last year, if you remember, and they didn't even win the division. So there's that. All right, good people, I got to hit the road, and I will see you guys there. And